your girl. Welcome to Jackie Yaps a Lot. Y'all, this is my first episode, my debut episode here on Cultureflix, and I am so excited. Like, I have a platform to rant, I got a platform to uplift black excellence, I got a platform to just be me, and I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. All right. So, let's get this rolling. We're always going to start with housekeeping. All right? So, I cuss a lot. I'm blunt and I'm unforgiving. All right? If you are sensitive, this may not be the show for you. Okay? Okay. If you follow me on Threads or on TikTok or on Instagram, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the difference is here, I don't got that racist ass algorithm. You feel me? All right. So, everything that I present really on Jackie Yaps a Lot, is my opinions. And I remind y'all as we go through it, okay, that especially when we get to the more intense topics, and I got a lot to say about it, it's my opinion. It's my thoughts. All right? All right, so let's keep going. Okay. So, what is Jackie Yaps a Lot? Like I said, I am here to talk about the topics they don't want us talking about. Okay? I am here as a black scented platform, okay, to amplify not only black brilliance and education, but black joy. Okay? It won't always just be me up here yapping. I'm going to bring in guests. I'm also going to give y'all the opportunity to engage with me live. Okay? So that's more to come. All right? That's more to come. Okay? So, I'm here every Tuesday from 7 a.m. Really? 7 a.m.? This shit's live too. So I'm just gonna, okay, whoop. So let me try that again. All right. So I am here every Tuesday from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. EST. All right. Every Tuesday I'm gonna come with a new episode. And what are these episodes gonna look like? We're gonna have an intro. It ain't gonna always be this long, but something like this. All right. I'm always gonna come in after the intro with a rant. Okay? And today's rant is going to be all about social media, especially TikTok. I got a few things to say. All right. Then we're going to have the meat of our episode. Okay? Today, it's going to be how did I get here? How did Jackie's Academy start? Okay? I'm going to do shout outs. And then I'm going to close it out. And I'm going to close this out with a different thing each week. And you'll see more to come on that. But that's what the structure of the show is going to be about. When I start ranting, I can't promise you anything. You might want to start writing shit down. I don't know. Okay? Again, black scented. Okay? Black scented. So white people tuning in, understand that. Y'all are welcome here. But you are not the center of the conversation. Okay? Okay. All right. So I told y'all when to tune in. So you're going to catch me every Tuesday, right? From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST on Cultureflix. All right? You're going to tell your friends. Okay? You're always going to tune in. You ain't ever going to miss an episode. All right? Now, we always talk about supporting black women. Hi. I mean, how hard is it to turn on and tune in? You feel me? Easy way to support me. Okay? All right. So, I think I told you everything that I want to tell you about housekeeping items. Oh, actually, the one thing I want to say is y'all sat there, right? I let that intro stay up there for a couple minutes. If you know me, okay, I come from a project management and leadership background. I always gave people 1 to 2 minutes to come into my team meetings. So that's what I'm doing here. I was just paused, waiting. But y'all, I could have used some music, right? Like shit, like I'm cute, right? Those cartoons are cute. But we need music. So if I got any artists out there from the black community that want to hook me up with an intro, let me know. Okay? Hit me up. Alright? You can hit me up at my academy email. Okay? Jackie's Academy at gmail.com. Alright. Alright, so let's get this shit rolling. Alright? And I want to start today with something that really pissed me off. Okay? So I am a black activist. I am outspoken. Okay? I am not ever gonna sugarcoat. Alright? And the topic of the conversation typically is white people. Why? Because they can't get up out of our business. Alright? So, anyways, I'm up on TikTok doing my thing. I post my videos. And I promise you, the next day I wake up to at least 20 hateful comments. All right, from everything calling me a monkey, telling me that I'm unemployed, every stereotype ever conceived about black people is thrown at me. The algorithm apparently can't pick it up, right? So I have to see it. I have to endure it as a black man. Okay. All right, report them. I do that. What happens? Nothing. I had about 2 comments that were taken down. After that, they just stay up there. All right. So, this morning, during my social media review in the morning, I'll break my schedule down at some other point because it's all deliberate and strategic and it will help you. Okay, anyways. So, I'm going through and I hit up TikTok and I start looking at my comments and I'm talking like inundated. In fact, if you follow me on Threads, you saw my post where I took a screenshot and y'all, that wasn't even all of them, okay? Because I actually reported and blocked a few before I took the screenshot, okay? So I'm inundated with these hateful ass comments, okay? So I do clap back. I will drag you. But if I clap back and I dragged everybody, that's all I would be doing, okay? So, I picked this one dude who said something especially stupid and vile. And I looked at his profile and he had no chin. His chin was missing, y'all. Like, it was gone. You know the white dudes I'm talking about. They got like, I don't know, it's like no chin. So I said just that. I said, what happened to your chin? Way to go. Can you tell me why? I want to say within 30 seconds, that comment was taken down and I received a strike on my account. Y'all, so I of course appeal it. And of course, there's nowhere for me to type in, are y'all good? Like, he can come at me and say all this racist shit. And I defend myself. Again, you do not get to dictate how I choose to defend myself. So I clap back. And you motherfuckers have the audacity to take down my comment? But I couldn't do that because there was no way to write it. So, of course, I appealed it. And then, of course, what happened? What happened? Nothing. I didn't win my appeal. So, now I have 2 strikes on my account for TikTok. Both strikes because I amplified a racist. Okay, so, look. All y'all who were like, oh, well, the egg. Fuck that. So you're telling me that in this country, we can have missiles that can pinpoint you in your house and blow just you up, but we cannot build an algorithm to catch these racist ass remarks? That you cannot track accounts that are clearly trolls up on there targeting people? Please. It's not that y'all can't. They won't. They don't want to. And for those of you who think, okay, just report and block them, bitches, I do that. But you have to understand, no matter how strong you are, seeing that shit, it gets tiring. It's exhausting, and at the end of the day, why should I have to walk through life like that? Why should I just have to make that a normal part of my routine? Do you make it a normal part of your routine? And y'all know who I'm talking to. No. So why should I? Why shouldn't I just be able to get up and look at my comments and see love and support? And I ain't talking about everybody agreeing with me. Shit, if you're part of my community and I say something and you're not vibing, let me know. We can talk about it. You feel me? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about, why should I have to log into social media and be told that I look like a monkey, be told that I'm not black. I'm not black. To be told that my hair smells. To be told that I am poor, that I don't matter. Like, but apparently TikTok has no problem with it. And then it got better. And you know what? I just got an idea, y'all. See, this is what happens. I'm going to tell you in real time. I might forget what I was just saying, but I'm going to tell you in real time. Next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade away. Like, I'm going to show you on the screen these people's accounts, and yeah, we're going to get fun with it. But for now, the person I'm talking about, the next person, that's up on my Threads account as well, okay? So this motherfucker comes on to my Threads and he starts commenting on all of them, right? Condescending comments, okay? Just being a complete ass, calling me racist. And no, a black person cannot be racist, because racism is about what? Say it with me now. Power. And we got none. Not in this country. We have a different type of power, but it certainly is not within the political realm. Okay, let me stop. Okay, see, I knew it. I was going to digress and I'm going to forget what the fuck I was going to say. All right, so he kept commenting. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to do this a different route. I'm going to ask him to leave me alone. I'm going to tell him to please leave me alone. And that's what I started doing. I started replying, please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. And then I was reporting him at the same time for harassment and bullying, because that's exactly what the fuck he was doing. Okay? And what happened? Nothing. TikTok came back and said he wasn't breaking community guidelines. So me telling some racist white dude that he got no chin, and I want to help him find it, I didn't say it like that, but asking some racist white dude why he's got no chin gets you an account strike. But harassing openly a black woman is no big deal. I ended up blocking him because at the end of the day, y'all, I'm going to protect my mental health. Even after I fuck with you, I'm going to block you. I'm going to protect my mental health. If you really piss me off, I will drag you on Threads and my community will come in. And y'all, some of them are feistier than me. Okay. And then I'll add you to my website. We could take a little bit of a look at that later. Okay? And I got no shame. Alright? But I will protect my mental health. Alright? On these platforms, this is what pisses me off. I have never been the first to engage, ever, with these racists. Fuck, they don't even come up on my feed. Why? Because I don't go seek them out like they go seek us out. Okay? All I ever do is defend myself. But there's something in this country about black women defending ourselves that pisses y'all off. For some reason, you feel really strongly that we should just have to endure, and then y'all can just say, oh my gosh, you're so strong. Yeah, cool. But what the fuck? Why do we have to walk through life like this, y'all? Why? And again, see, I do that. I rant and then I forget. But yeah, okay. So that's the thing. I don't ever start it. But again, if you come for me, gloves are off. If you got a snaggle tooth, you better hide it. If your hair is thinning, I'll drag your mama. I will not silently endure your hate. And the problem is that these individuals have never suffered any consequences, not meaningful consequences. We're told that if we clap back, we're stooping to their level. We're told to ignore them and to take the higher ground. And as a result, we have built these empowered racist monsters who know that I can come out and I can say anything I want. Fuck, I can do anything I want. I can cuss out a black child. And what will happen? I'll reverse it and I'll get the empathy. I'll reverse it and I'll become the victim. And it works every motherfucking time. And here we are with these social media platforms like TikTok that shamelessly protect white supremacists while simultaneously suppressing black content creators' content. Are you good? Are you good? And then y'all have the audacity to say there's no such thing as white privilege? Right there. Right there. White privilege isn't about, oh, you know what, you're rich, you have so much money. No. It's about things being afforded to you that, you know, they come easier. That you can get on TikTok. And you can probably drop the N-word. And you'll go viral. And you'll make money off of it. You can do a little dance. White women steal our music. Do a little dance. You'll go viral. It's easier for you. You don't have algorithms that are literally deliberately built to fuck with you. While making sure that you see every hateful comment that comes your way, because for some reason the algorithm cannot pick up racist comments, but it can pick up when you call out someone's chick. And Meta ain't no better. And Meta ain't no better. And neither is YouTube. All those platforms openly and shamelessly protect racists. And by doing so, they make it so black folks on these platforms are not safe. And don't ask me, well, then why are you on the platform? Because again, that is you blaming me. Why shouldn't I be on the platform? Why isn't the question, why are the racists on the platform? Why aren't the platforms monitored better? Why is black pride viewed as hate? Why is black love viewed as hate? And you might be saying, what do you mean view as hate? Well, it clearly must be viewed as hate if white people get so fucking triggered over it. Because who the fuck gets triggered over love? I sure as shit don't. Do you? Okay. So that's my rant. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of busting my ass. I'm sick of busting my ass just to be suppressed. I'm sick of enduring the hate just to be penalized for when you have that moment where you're just like, you know what, fuck it, and you just, and then you're the bad guy. And no, like I was saying, I would not leave the platforms. I belong on those platforms. And my people, my community, my brothers and sisters deserve to be on these platforms safely. We deserve these spaces too. And by saying to us, just leave, you are telling us that these platforms belong to white people, belong to the white supremacists. And that shit's fucked up. Because y'all know, and I know there's a few out there, but white folk ain't gonna allow us to create a meta and be as successful as them. That they'll get right in front of that shit and stand there and say no. All right. So let's be real. We can try. I know there's fan base. I tried that shit. It didn't work out for me. I don't know what's going on. But I mean, even when, never mind, I ain't gonna go. See, I go off. Okay. So we'll have more conversations on that. But that's my rant about social media, especially TikTok, because that shit really pissed me off this morning. Like, it really pissed me off. And at the end of the day, neither one of those racists were penalized. I end up with a strike on my account. And don't worry, like I said, I blocked them all. The last dude that I told you about, the one that harassed me, he's gonna come back up on the website. Point blank, period. But since then, I probably blocked 20 more people. So, I mean, whatever. When I say whatever, what I mean by that is I will develop a new tactic to make sure that I clap back in a manner to which I will not be penalized. I would never, ever, ever allow these racists to bully me and win. Now again, like I said, that does not mean that I clap back at every comment. I clap back strategically. It's clear that some of these accounts are just trolls. They're fake accounts, right? But there are some real people out there with big profiles, lots of followers, that have no problem openly displaying their hate and their racism, and that's where I come in. All right, so that's enough about that. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to take a sip of my drink. What do y'all think about my setup? Let me know, okay? Make sure you hit me up. Let me know, where do you hit me up? Again, you can hit me up on Threads. I'm unapologetically Jackie. Okay? So hit me up on Threads. You can always email my academy. Okay? But let me know what you think of my setup. That's the image. You probably seen the image. I don't even know which way I'm pointing. Ooh, that way. Ooh, nope. Ooh, oh, she can. Ooh, there it is. That's the image you probably seen on some of my videos. And my boy Derek Eason, he is the one who's the artist behind all of my shit. He did the Jackie Yaps a lot too. That's my boy. I love him. Hi, Derek. I hope you're watching. Okay. And he also did that painting right there. Isn't that shit dope? And don't worry, I got Molly right there. But anyways, ain't that painting sick? Alright, so what do you think of my setup? Can y'all see me? Is it clear? I got lighting in here, but you know how it is. So keep me honest. Alright, one more sip. And then we're gonna get into the bulk of tonight's episode, which is Jackie's Academy. Like, what happened? How'd you get here? Alright, so I have always been an activist, okay? I spoke at Black Lives Matter's protests. I started in the last place that I lived, which was Stoughton. I started something called the Stoughton Stance, which was initiative where it was initially set up that was supposed to be a place for black people, and then the co-chair, who was Latin, he thought that it'd be nice to do it as a BIPOC, and I said, okay, let's try it. Um, it the intentions were there. I was happy I started it. The only thing is that this same individual thought that we should have allies in there, and then once that happened, it just kind of to deteriorate. And I'll come back and talk more about that. But I did something like that as well. Um, I was the lead of the Black Alliance at the last job that I was at, and I'll tell you more about that as well. I had Instagram, I had all these platforms, and I've always been up there, speaking out against the racial injustices within this country, as well as trying, to uplift and amplify my people. Um, During the time, right, I had a 9 to 5. So if you've been following me, you know that I was in corporate America for 17, 18, we'll just say 17 plus years, okay? Um, I ended up in the healthcare sector. And if you know anything about healthcare, I worked with a system, an EMR that was called Epic. So I was an analyst, okay? And then I became a project manager, and then I became a manager, and I had 34 individuals who I led. Okay, so that's what I was doing, and in my activism and my uplifting, being a black educator, that was like my side job, right? Um, but my 9 to 5 was grueling. It was grueling, but I loved it. And the thing I loved about it was the people that I led. I had the opportunity to develop. I had the opportunity to be that light, that guide, to help people find their true potential, right? I love that, right? And I love critical thinking. Um, Being an analyst was dope. I loved doing build, like actually building the system. I thought that was dope. And then building the system, being able to come up with best practice workflows so I can help. I mean, I can go on for days about that. So if you want to ever hear more about that, you just let me know and I can have an episode on that. But with that being said, um, all this time, don't get it twisted. Your girl suffered immense racism. Like, y'all, like, throughout my entire career, it was just, I mean, you're too direct. It scares people. I even had one person at one of my jobs tell me that you're really smart, but it really intimidates people, so you need to water it down. I mean, the amount of microaggressions and, like I said, just blatant racism that I endured over those years is insane, right? And it took a really big impact on my mental health. But my last job was, I mean, that was it. I was there for 5 years, and the company started off, like I said, it started off at a place, I ain't gonna lie, I was mad cheesy when it first started. I was the one, like, doing those, like, company photos, like, oh, okay, I'll dress up too, ah! Yeah, like, I was all in it. I, drank the Kool-Aid. It seemed like, okay, this company's talking about DEI. They're talking about, what you call it, the LGBTQ plus community. And I know that all really is encompassed in DEI, but you feel me, right? So I was like, all right, this is, I had my natural hair, which was new for me, so I thought that was neat, that I could have my natural hair and nobody would say anything. And that sounds fucked up, right? But it's true. And I, to a degree, could be myself. So I thought I was doing good, but that company fucking spiraled, y'all, and it spiraled fucking quick, and I'm talking quick. And then it became very clear to me that we were no longer on the same page, and that this company's whole DEI, they called it DEIB, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, that this was clearly just a facade. It was clearly there as a way for the company to say, hey, look what we're doing. We're so DEIB, but in behind the scenes, and I'm going to have a separate episode on this, that shit was fucked up. So fucked up that I resigned from being the leader of the Black Alliance, because I will not do that. I will not be your Uncle Tom. No. That's not what we're doing. So I resigned from the being the lead of the Black Alliance just for that reason. Then, at the same time, we're fast forward now. We're getting into the election. I'm watching how my company's handling that. That bullshit about essentially saying like we're not taking a stance and blah blah blah, and it's like okay. So watching that, then I'm watching people like openly support Trump, like they're wearing like Trump shirts to work, and I'm sitting there like okay, 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 and um stuff is being said like directors making really fucked up comments like that DEIB since it came, it's been discriminating against white people, like really bold shit, and I'm sitting here like again like okay, so then some transitions happened. So I was under a white male who was extremely racist. I'm going to come back. Like I said, I will tell you more in-depth stories about this. But I ended up transferring under someone else. And I'm not going to say his name because I'm trying not to reveal too much about the place I work. But if he's watching, you know who I'm talking about. And he was dope. All right. He too was a white male. But he was an anti-racist. No, not was. He is. And he was dope. All right, so I ended up moving positions, and I ended up being placed to work underneath him, and he was amazing, great guy. I was happy. Like I said, I got put over a team of 34. Was I nervous? Of course, but again, this is what I do. And like I said, I started work and blah blah blah. Okay, so then a new COO started, and she was a white woman, and no operational experience, and she was becoming the COO, so Chief Operating Officer. She had no experience in that particular field. She was extremely insecure because she knew that. And she was very threatened because of the lack of knowledge. And this is not insult. This is just honesty. All right. So I was a very well-liked leader at this company. Liked and respected. Okay? And that pissed off a lot of these racist white people. Okay? I was also extremely outspoken. So like I said, I was a leader. My duty is to make sure that the employees are being looked after. So when you tell me that you're going to do a competency assessment, right? And again, who am I? I'm black, right? I want to make sure I understand the company that you're using for these competency assessments and how they're making sure that they built, and how, they assure that there's no racial bias within these competency tests. You understand? So I'm going to ask those questions, and I don't give a shit, all right? Because if you're going to roll out something at a company that promotes DEIB, I need to understand what vetting was done, okay? I also wasn't a yes man, okay? So if she said something that I disagreed with, I would say so, and no, I wasn't like, no, I would say so professionally. You understand? And she didn't like that. She didn't like that people would chat in, Someone said, if you had, I forget exactly, something like if you had a word of advice or something about, like if you had to do something about leadership, like what would you do? Who would you emulate? And someone typed in, a couple of people typed in, and a couple of them were white, I would be a leader like Jackie. So long story short, and yeah, you know what? Fuck yeah, I'm propping myself up because you know what? We don't do that enough, especially black women, okay? And I will let you know, I was fucking good at my job. I was one of the top leaders, if not the top leader, at that job. My teams were running crisp, okay? I turned around an entire team, and we'll talk about that later. So I was good at my job, and she knew it. She didn't like it, and she was threatened by me. She was racist as shit. I'll come back to those stories, but long story short, this was all happening as the election was happening, okay? And I was thinking, what am I gonna do? Like this activism, like I need to get into this more. I need to spend more time. But again, like I'm the breadwinner. I was making a very nice chunk of change. Um, Leaving my job was scary. And I've endured racism for a long time in corporate America. And I tell myself, you got this, you can do this. Like, do do do. All right, something real fucked up happened. And again, I want to make sure I save time to show you my website. But something fucked up happened. I'll come back to that story. And long story short, it was so egregious and the racism was so blatant and the lies that were said about me in writing were so bad that, to be real and not to be cheesy, Kendrick Lamar popped up into my head where he said, never let anyone push mud up on your name. And I made a decision. And I was in tears, y'all. This decision, this decision was hard. I worked my ass off to get to where I was. I endured sexual harassment. I endured racism. I endured everything that you can possibly fucking think of. And I made it, y'all. I was making a lot of money. I was, leading 34 people. I did it, like I was that bitch. You know what I'm saying? I liked what I did and I was good at it. But I couldn't do it anymore. I could not endure the hate. The racism. I knew no matter what I did, this woman was gonna be relentless. Relentless. There was nothing that I was going to be able to do to stop her. And again, don't get it twisted. I did the proper things. I reported her to HR. I document everything. I had everything in writing. I mean, like, I did the right things. And she was clearly, that was it. You know what I mean? They were making up their minds. So I sat there and I looked at my husband. And I said to him, I made up my mind. And he looked at me, he said, what? I said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to launch an academy. I am going to launch an academy with all of my skill sets that I have acquired over the last 17 plus years. And I am going to start a website where this knowledge is housed and accessible to my people, the Black community, so they do not have to endure the shit that I had to endure in corporate America, that I can give them a way out because I can help them develop skill sets and build connections that will allow them to not have to go into corporate America if they choose not to. And if they choose to, if my people choose to go into corporate America, into that sector, I can help guide them. I can help talk the talk. I did it. I made it. I got you. And then that orange clown won. I had more tears. But I knew that I had a calling. And that calling was for me to preserve my people's history. For me to have a spot that holds white folk accountable. A spot that makes sure racists are elevated. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because it looked like it disconnected for a second, so sorry. But okay, so that's what I decided. I said, hey, I have to do this. I have to start this academy. So, long story short, I resigned from my job. I cited constructive termination due to racism, and we'll talk more about that. Because I wanted to make sure that it was understood that I was forced to leave my job due to the environment that was created by this company. Okay? Because if it wasn't for the racism within this company, I would still be working there because, again, I excelled at my job. Okay? And if you want to know, oh, is she exaggerating? I would just tell you this. My manager, who worked there for 10 years, resigned shortly after I quit, again, due to constructive termination, being forced out because of racism, because of what he saw them do to me. He resigned. I told you that he was an anti-racist, y'all. I told you. He resigned and he found a new job. All right? And of course, I don't talk a lot about my husband because I keep my family private, and I do so for multiple reasons. But one is because I am a very outspoken black activist, and there's a lot of people out there that want to hurt me. So I don't want my family to be a target, so I'll talk about them a lot. But my husband, he just looked at me and said, do it. Whatever you need, I've got you. And that's my husband. He's always got me. All right. So, with that being said, did you know Jackie's Academy, it started with a website? I was going through it, I realized that I had no audio, so I couldn't talk through it, which was what my plan was. But that's okay. So what I did is I clicked through some of the pages that, based off of my analysis that the website does. These are the pages that I don't think people really know about. So I wanted to show you. I have a children's corner. I do a new must read every month. I also do my little parenting pearls, right? I like to think that I'm a pretty dope ass mom, and I have some pretty little nifty tips and tricks that I've done with my girls, and so I have that up there. You also saw the financial fundamentals. So my academy is also built around the areas that black black folks have like deliberately been left out of, right? Like learning about finances, right? And what I mean by that is that knowledge, that proudness is not something that was meant for our community, right? So I made sure that I built an entire section on finance fundamentals, of which all my content, for the most part, I either add to it or I rotate it every month. But for the finance fundamentals in particular, that one I rotate every month. And on there right now, I have debunking credit card myths, and I also have 3 practical tips for contesting errors on your credit report. Why should you listen to me? Because I have a credit score of 820. Okay, like I know what I'm talking about, y'all. And so I built the academy based off of the successes, my knowledge set, and it's meant to be a free platform for my people, right? For black people, white folks, you can come there too. I mean, it ain't locked down. I did build your corner. You saw it, Caucasity Corner. Y'all should check that shit out too. Probably first. But anyways, this is here because my community, and you all know you like my shirt. My community is neglected. My community is the afterthought. And when I built Jackie's Academy, this website in particular, I did it top tier for a reason, because our people deserve quality. Our people deserve to thrive. They deserve an environment where they can come to and say, hey, I'm gonna pull up this website and I know I'm not gonna be triggered unless you choose to, right? Because if you go to the expose and the hate, that shit might trigger you. But you feel me? Like that you can come here and like when I'm giving you leadership tips, it ain't through a white lens. It's through a black woman's lens. You understand me? That when you come and you look at these financial tips that I'm given, it's based off of my lived experiences, right? As a black woman, again, I'm talking to you. As a black woman, it's going to flow differently. It's going to feel differently. It's going to land differently. And I want that for my people. Like, we deserve that. And I can bring that. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, the other part of my website that I don't think people probably even look at is the about me. If you click on about me and you go underneath it, it says sees what the squad is saying. That's testimonials from people I used to work with, from analysts that I used to lead, or from even someone there on Threads who benefited from my anti-racism. Read it. I mean, you don't gotta take my fucking word for it. But again, this is what I do, and I built an academy. And really quick too, Caucasity Corner. People are like, well, why is that even there? Maybe like, why do we have to explain everything to white people? Why do we have to spell it out or whatnot? Here's the deal. There's a lot of information I throw out here. Okay. Here's the reason. If I take the time to do the work and to tell white people, this is what you need to stop saying, this is what triggers us, my hope is that it stops you from having to. My hope is that you can say, you know what, when this motherfucker says to me, black people own slaves too, you know what, I'm going to send them right over to her website. Fuck, I'm gonna take a screenshot of where she wrote about this and I'm gonna send it back to them. You understand? Like, that's what that's there for. And then the same thing, like, I put under everything black, like, I put linguistic vibes, right? And people might think, okay, well, why are you showing them, African American language? Like, why are we letting them in on this? It's so they understand us, so that way they're listening for understanding and they stop asking you triggering questions. What do you mean when you say that? What are you talking about? Like, can you explain it to me? No, I don't got time to do that. You don't have to explain it. There's a website for it. Or white people, again, this is where you're proactive. You come to the website, and if you're curious about what I say, let's see, let me look at this. What might you not understand? When I say this, I think you should know that, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. How about tight? That's tight. Okay? You come on here and say, if I said to you, oh, yo, that's tight. Instead of saying, what does that mean? What are they saying? You can come here and look at it. It tells you. You can learn on your own, white people. You're welcome. So, yeah. So, that's what this website is about, y'all. And again, I have a store. I'm not going to plug it too much, but you can check that out. And then one of the things on here that I am really excited about, that I will be dedicating an upcoming episode to, is the Sports Card Collecting Academy, because y'all are not paying attention to this and I have no idea why. Y'all, this is an academy that I am building alongside the leading sports card, he has an investment and dealer. He has a particular way he likes to be described, and right now it's like, but I am teaming up with him, and we're gonna teach your kids the ins and outs of sports card collecting. And listen, y'all, they don't have to be watching sports all the time. They don't need to be, going out and buying cards. Like, trust. I did this as a kid. And I did it during growing up. I had a small hiatus, and again, I'll talk about that in a future episode. But this academy is sick. We're gonna give your kids their starter cards. We're gonna give them some cash. We're going to not only explain to them about the industry and about how to trade and what to look for. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna teach them about the history of our people in sports, the impact. And not that cliche shit, but we're gonna talk about the Negro League. I got cards that I can give your kids, right? Like, why do white folks get these cards? We should have these cards, right? So more to come on that. But yeah, if you have a moment when you get off of this stream, my show, which I think is going really well, y'all. When you get off here, go hit up my website, www.jackiesacademy.com. Click around, y'all. It's there, like, literally for you to thrive. That's my people. Like I said, white folks, it's there for you. You can look at it, but every time you look at it, you better be dropping me a tip, because you are learning from a black woman, and you should not be making me work for free. Okay? All right, y'all. So that is my episode for today. I got 5 minutes left, and we are going to close today out. I hope you loved the episode. I had so much fun. I'm so excited to be doing this. Just so you know, I'm going to recap real quick. You can catch me on Jackie Yaps a lot every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. EST on Culture Flicks. I am recording this, so I will also upload this, and I have not decided where yet. If it will be on YouTube or if it will be on Substack the next day, which would be Wednesday, should you not be able to catch the live stream. But again, catch the live stream, okay? Because it helps out your girl, okay? I need to get paid, y'all. I need to get paid, y'all. You feel me? Right? And you know this is good. You know you love listening to me talk. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. So again, hit me up though too. Hit me up if you have music I can put to my intro and my outro. And I will figure out how to be able to show you some of this website while I talk, because we gonna dive into some shit. You feel me? And again, last but not least, if there is something that you want me to rant about, hit me up. If there is an episode topic that you're interested in, I said there was a lot of things that I could expand on. Hit me up. I posted on Threads a couple of days ago, I think, about my experience with EIGs, that employee resource group, the one I told you that I was the Black Alliance, that one. So I told people were really interested in what I had to say. So I said, you know what, I'll dedicate an episode to that, and I will. I'll be coming back and I will be talking to you. Now the thing is, I ain't just going to talk to you about how to stand one up. I will give you those recommendations. I'm going to tell you the fucked up shit that went down behind the scenes where I was, and like, I'm talking like shit that you're like, what? Right? Like, what? So yeah, that's gonna happen. So yeah, again, thank you for tuning in to my debut episode. I hope you loved it. Again, I love fucking feedback. Okay, so give it to me. All right, and thank you, Culture Flicks. You know, this is so dope, giving me a platform, giving me and my community really a platform. Because again, I'm gonna bring y'all in. I'm gonna bring you all in. To talk about the tough shit, letting me be myself, be raw. When y'all said I could swear, I was like, oh. Feel me? All right, y'all. Well, that's it. Thank you for tuning in to Jackie Yaps a lot. I'm gonna put my outro on, but guess what? There's no music, so sorry. Maybe next time. Much love, y'all.